Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I hope you guys have a very great day. My name is Hafizi from Group 2. Today I will talk about MBA1411A Chapter 8, which is communication. Before that, our group member consists of 6 people, which is Akid, Akmal, Hana, Aina, Maizatul and me. So for my part, I will talk about definition of communication and communication process. You may wonder what is communication. Communication is the act of transferring information from one place, person or group to another. It involves at least one sender, a message and a recipient. It's also the process of manager interacting with employee. Communication by definition is the process of transmitting a message to the receiver to obtain a response. The process by which a person, group or organization transmit some type of information to another person, group or organization. So now I will talk about the process of communication. As you can see from the chart, it is started from the sender and will end with a receiver. This chart actually shows how effective organizational communication works. Effective organizational communication is attainable through understanding the element of communication. The communication process primary element include the first thing we need to know about communication process is social context, a setting in which communication occurs. It includes the culture that the individual was educated or live in and the people and institution with whom they interact. Next, a sender. A sender is an individual with information to share. The sender must decide on the message to share, the channel to use and encode the message. The sender is actually the first person to start a communication. A sender needs to encode the message, which is a process that translates the sender's idea into a systematic set of symbols or a language expressing the communication purpose. Encoding can either be verbal, which is spoken or written communication, or non-verbal, which is facial gesture, body language and appearance. After generating the idea, the sender can make a message, which is the code that are transmitted via a medium or channel to a receiver. Its particular give meaning to the information or data. After all of that process, the message will be received by a receiver, an individual or group of individuals who receive information. The receiver must decode the message. Decoding is the translation of received message into interpreted meaning. The receiver will assign meaning to the message. Feedback is necessary here because misunderstanding may occur. Feedback is actually a process of verifying message and the receiver attempts to ensure that the message he or she decode is what the sender really meant to deliver. Last but not least, noise. Anything in a communication setting that causes disturbance or interference in the communication process. The source of noise may be internal or external environment and can be in the form of physical condition. Example of noise includes loud sound in the background, a person interrupting your conversation and cannot pay attention, etc.
Formal communication. A formal communication channel follows a chain of command and recognized as official and authorities. It follows the organization checkline or follow the chain of command established by an organization hierarchy of authority. One way to view formal communication channels is to examine how it flows, either vertically or horizontally, laterally. 2 ways of formal communication. Vertical communication. Flow of information occurs outward and downwards in the chain of command in an organization. Horizontal communication. Communicate big value probe and be truly straightforward. Info. Outward communication. A message from subordinates that is sent up to managers such as daily report and suggestion. Downward communication. A message from individuals at higher levels, managers that is passed down to order at lower levels, subordinates such as job instruction, policies and etc. Informal communication. An informal communication channel, spontaneous communication channel arises due to the social relationship developing in an organization. It also arises due to the demands of organizational members satisfying their social needs. They are neither required nor controlled by management. A common term for this is grapevine. The grapevine is an informal method of transmitting information designated as the organization's wandering of message. Grapevine communication can be divided to 4 types. Single strain flows like a chain. A tells something to B who tells it to C. The longer the strain, the more distortion and filtering effect make the information less accurate. Example, an employee is being called to the manager's room and the news about it travels in a single chain. Gossip occurs when one person tells everybody else. This chain usually passes a message which is not job-related in nature, but more on personal matters of interest. Example, gossip about the CEO getting married for the 4th time. Probability move information from one person to another person randomly. The source of information for each person receiving the message is different. The information is interesting but not significant. Example, information about property auction is being shared with people at random. Cluster move through selected group. This is the dominant grapevine pattern in an organization. It tells something to a few selected individuals and then some of these individuals inform a few other selected individuals. Example, information about a job vacancy as sales manager is passed to someone that they have trust on.
Barriers to effective communication. Effective communication requires both sender and receiver commitment in the communication process. The barriers are cost of diversion and intervention in communication and originate from internal and external environment. Cross-cultural diversity, trust and capability, language and creativities, gender difference, noise, information overload, inconsistent verbal and non-verbal communication. Cultural diversity. An individual from different culture may interpret their message differently. They have different behavior, style, and way of looking at the things. Example, Japanese, they will bow their head when they meet. American, they shake their hand when they meet. Trust and credibility. Lack of trust can cause the receiver to look for hidden meanings in the sender's message. Sender's credibility will be high if he has the reputation of being known as knowledgeable, trustworthy, and sincere. As example, a message can come from an officer who likes to joke around may not be treated seriously by co-workers. Language and categories. When two defenders are using different meaning of interpretation of the same words and do not realize it. Jargon is specific terminology or language used by a particular person or group. As example, list means to go in front of and also middle. Same pronunciation but different meaning. The different gender are being brought up differently during their childhood. They had been taught with different perspective, attitude about life, and communication style. As a result, men and women interpret the same communication differently. Example, men are less likely to listen, but women are attentive and will listen carefully. Noises is any type of disturbance that interferes with the transformation or interpretation. Example, while talking with each other, noise such as the voice of other people talking or the sound message notification on the phone can interrupt the conversation. Information overload. The increasing use of technology often leads to information overload, which occurs when an individual receives so much information. It will cause the person to fail to process or ignore some of the information and process the information correctly. Example, receiving many emails that really might confuse managers, which is their propriety. System verbal and non-verbal communication. Sometimes the message we send and receive are strongly influenced by non-verbal factors such as facial expression, eye contact, and body contact and clothing. Example, the manager asks his employees to submit the report with a smiling face, so they assume that the report is not urgent. Overcoming barriers to effective communication. For communication and effective organization communication, we need to have the ability to communicate effectively and overcome the barriers occur. Developing trust and openness. These are important elements for all organization members. An individual can trade trust by developing consistent performance. The person's character will also be a driving factor of trust. Expressing concern and empathy. The best approach is to understand the situation. Being a good listener can lead you to express concern and empathy to others. Be aware while you communicate. Your tone of voice, consistency of your verbal and non-verbal communication, and your seeming preferences to other person's message. Reaction will show your awareness of messages. Seek to clarify your idea before communicating. Analyze the problem and idea and the true purpose before you communicate. The message will become clearer and greater than without improper planning. Follow up on your communication. Follow up or getting feedback is important for every communication to success, and it can get a complete understanding and correct result. This by asking questions and by encourage the receiver to express his reaction. Clarify the language. Managers can use words that are easily understood by employees when they want to assign tasks. Avoid using jargon terms because it will lead to misunderstanding.